I guess on my hair, she looked alright, and with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color Grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. What's up, you guys? My name is Torrence. Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I wanted to talk to you about the top 5 things that I absolutely love and hate about makeup. I was calling my stylist because although my braids are still looking rather nice, the stitch pattern that was in there has faded because I accidentally slept with the shower cap instead of the bonnet cap. Maybe it was a hot night that night. But the braids are still holding up, as you can even see here. Like if I hold it right there where the paint is, you can see there's little to no frizz in the braids and things like that. So it would still hold up, but between my dry scalp and the pattern fading, I just want to go ahead and get this taken down. But unfortunately, I booked a little later than I was supposed to, so I can't go this weekend. I got to go next weekend. But things are beautiful. I was happy with the price, with the speed, with the style, so I rebooked with the same braider. And while talking with her, I was also talking to someone else. And anytime you bring up makeup, you're always seem to get those people who either absolutely love makeup or hate it. I am someone who loves makeup, honey. I love, love, love makeup. But everything about makeup is not peaches and cream, honey. Let me tell you that. I know I can't get that tutorial out for you all today, but I promise you I will be getting it all later on this week. Completely forgot to wash brushes, honey. I picked up some overtime at work. Oh, and thinking I was going to be tired, thinking I was going to have a bad day. Can you all please leave a big old thank you for Fizes for me, honey? She is an amazing woman. She is the one who did the intro for our new videos. And I'm supposed to use it for the first time in today's video, but I was so excited I just wanted to see if it would work that I put it in a previous video. So I would like everyone to go ahead and thank Fiza in the comment section for me because she is absolutely amazing. It is just crazy to think that my channel has less than 500 subscribers, and yet we've already received our first PR package. We've already done several giveaways, and my community of people is just so positive, so giving that I am just blessed right now. I don't even worry about the subscriber count. I just think about the fact that as long as I continue going and you all continue to support me, this will continue to be a beautiful place to be. And although hate is not the most beautiful word in the world, honey, like I said, everything about makeup ain't peaches and cream. So today I wanted to talk to you once again about my top 5. But because I always like to end things on a positive note, we're going to do the top 5 things that I hate most about makeup. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm trying my best to make this video an unedited one. And I keep just pulling this hair down like this because I've never worn it like this with hair on both sides. I've always just flipped them either one side or just put it to the back. So I'm just trying to get myself used to the idea that we about to get a wig going. So excuse me if you catch me playing with it. I've never done it like this before. But let's go ahead and get into this countdown because we've been talking long enough. We're going to start at number 5, work our way up to number 1. Started with what we hate most. Number 5. Oversaturation. The market is truly, truly oversaturated, honey. Every time you turn around, it is something else being released. And it's not like, okay, it's just something new to the market. It be the same brands putting stuff out time after time after time again. And once upon a time, you used to be able to collect everything. I remember when I first got into makeup, MAC was like that girl. She was the biggest brand. And makeup companies used to come with the fashion brands and they would launch stuff once per season. So it gave you time to play and use everything during that season as well as save up your coins for the next season's launch. So if MAC came out with something with a lipstick, a gloss, a liner, an eyeshadow palette, a face powder, you had the time and money to collect every piece before the next collection came out. Nowadays, you can't do that. And one of the biggest culprits, even though I'm part of the little clientele they get, and that's how they're making some of this money, Colourpop. Baby, Colourpop is the definition of the fast fashion of the makeup world. They the Fashion Nova of the makeup world, but Even though I've never tried nothing from Fashion Nova, we all know Colourpop make good stuff. With Fashion Nova, you hear back and forth about them. But look at this little bad boy, but you can't get mad at me though. You give me beautiful packaging, beautiful color story. The pans are magnetic, so if I want to take them out and just keep the shades I like, I got it. You can get it from Ulta. I believe this is either $12 or $14. The formula is amazing. It's good stuff. I ain't gonna lie, it's good stuff, but I hate the fact that they will come out with 5 different versions of the same palette. I got this one. They got a Going Coconuts palette. They got a Stone Cold Fox palette. It's just so many different variations of a cool neutral palette that basically if you buy one, you got them all. But as you see, they keep getting my coins, so they probably ain't gonna stop until we stop buying it. But that's probably why I put myself on a budget, because 1, I got so much stuff that I need to go ahead and use what I have, and 2, I can no longer be the collector I used to be, because before I could even buy and use one item, you done dropped 3, 4 other ones. So the number 5 thing that I hate the absolute most about the makeup industry, or just about makeup in general, is the oversaturation, honey. And let me look at my list to make sure we got the next one. Oh, number 4. The number 4 thing that I hate about makeup is the scalpers. When I tell you, there is nothing like finding out your favorite brand about to drop something. You look at it, you realize it's a nice item. You realize the price is in your budget. And as soon as it drops, it's sold out. And you looking like 10 minutes later, you got people reselling it for 2, 3 times the price. One of those that easily bring up that memory for me, the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. If you all have this palette, you probably understand when this first dropped, you could not find it if you did not go after it the day it launched. I remember everybody going crazy, and I'm sitting back looking like, for what, sis? She a warm neutral palette. But I was going off the fact that I'm someone who prefers neutral or cool neutral palettes. But she was beautiful, because this is the very first ABH palette I bought. And because the formula was so nice, I've collected every palette they've released since then. But when I walked into my Ulta, it was only a couple left. I asked them, what's a good one? I'm trying to get into makeup. I'm not sure what I like. They recommended it to me. You see, I still have the one that have the logo right here. I don't even think they put this one right here anymore. But I'm like, okay, I'll take it. I mean, I don't see. People have tried to buy this off of me, this and my Master Palette by Mario. But I always just look at it like, honey, I cannot believe a palette this basic caused such a stir. But them scalpers made a whole lot of money. And especially the ones who sold you a fake product, because I had a cousin. Baby, she tried thinking she got up on one. I think she paid like $80, almost $90 for it. It wasn't quite double the price, but she said it was close to it. Got it, and baby, it was a fake. Her feelings was hurt, and so was her pockets, honey. Number 3. This should be number 1 for a lot of us. Personally, for me, it really ain't. Just because I have a full-time job and no kids, so I usually have a few extra dollars to spend. But the number 3 thing that I hate the most about makeup is that this stuff is expensive. Makeup is expensive. Now, if you are someone who has some self-control, you put yourself on a budget, you don't go over it, you make sure when something else comes out, you go through your collection, you say, oh, if I got this, then I'm not buying that. Good for you, honey. If like me, and you probably easily got somewhere close to, I don't even want to count and think, but if you told me I had between 500 and 1,000 palettes, I wouldn't even doubt that. I wouldn't even question you, like, sounds about right. Because I know I've had everything Pat McGrath done released besides the Star Wars ones, everything Juvia's Place done released. Most things that Viseart done release, everything that Melt done release. It's like, I'm a collector, so when I find something I like, I want it. But when you think about it, that price adds up really, really fast. When it comes to expensive, I don't think nobody comes close It's Tom Ford. As far as my collection goes, he has the most expensive eyeshadows out of everybody. I know, like, just the highest price one I have usually goes to about Natasha Denona, but when you think about this, eyeshadow quad, honey, you only getting 4 shades. Now, they gorgeous, honey. But she $88. When I bought her, she was $80, but she done went up to $88 now. But when you think of 4 shadows for $88, and it's rare he only just dropped 1 at a time, he good for dropping 2, 3 of these at one time on you. Imagine how expensive that get. Do you know how many bigger palettes you can get for $88? My holy grail eyeshadow formula is Viseart for mattes. And even they 12-pan palettes are only $80. So to say I'm only getting 4 is like, but it's just so sleek and so beautiful. And growing up, I always wish I could afford Tom Ford. And honey, I might not be able to afford his clothes, but I got his makeup. But like I said, at $88 a pop, I'm usually not just standing there excited for his next launch. Because I'm like, honey, I missed that Emerald Lust palette and I'm still bitter about it. I done got, you know, some other greens from you, but it ain't quite the same. But when I think of ABH being in the $40 range, Juvia's Place being in the $20 range and things like that, it's like, why you won't just bring your prices down to bring your, you know, eyeshadow count up? Like Tom Ford, dang. He expensive, Pat McGrath, Viseart, Natasha Denona. It's like, I'm gonna pay for it, but I ain't gonna like the fact that I have to. Girl. Number 2. Look, I'm going to just put this out there and say this. I am not 100% sure that this was the item that did it, but I'm about 90-95. Because I'm someone who tests my makeup out and I usually monitor my skin in between time. And that time I got my one and only cyst on my face, I am really close to believing that it was this powder that did it. But because I tested out other stuff in the same week, I can't 100% put the blame on it. But I'm so positive that that's what did it that I've never tested this powder out again. One day I say I'm going to do it, but the fear of my skin breaking out like that again has held it off. And that's going to be, for number 2, the worst thing you can do is either have an allergic reaction or an acne breakout. Baby, and these Dermablend powders, they was on the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty half off sale. So I'm like, baby, I can get 2 for the price of 1. I ain't got to choose a shade. I can mix and create my own. You can give me them dang on powders, sis. Got the powders. I got 2 of the 3 because they have a one that's in between these 2, but it's called Cool Somebody. I'm like, yeah, I don't have a Cool on the tongue. You keep that, sis. I'm good. But I had them. I'm like, oh, y'all make that one foundation. I think it's called like Complete Coverage or something like that. They make sure this stuff is going to cover and last and it's going to work. It's like stage makeup. I'm like, oh yeah, baby. I want that. It caked and covered, baby. But I'm telling you, before the cyst even appeared, I could feel my skin just sit. It was like something took over and that cyst fought its way up and out and it just, oh. Worst experience I ever had with my skin. And it's because of that I am truly afraid to test this powder out again. I keep telling myself, okay, maybe next time we'll just test it on half the face. That way you ain't got, I don't know. I'm somebody who, I got beautiful skin. I will admit that. But it's because I stay on it twice a day. And if for any reason I was somebody who didn't know what to do in that time, Lord knows what my skin would have looked like in the end. But number 2, for that acne breakout, she would be number 1 on my list. But it also, I took into consideration the things that I do for other people with makeup. So I had to knock it down just a little bit. Because the number one thing I hate about makeup, easily, no doubt about it, is when your favorite item gets discontinued. Honey, just as a makeup lover and a makeup wearer, that is some of the worst news you can hear. Like, do not get rid of my holy grail favorite product. The very first time I had to go through that was when Urban Decay discontinued this one face primer that they had. And when I tell you, every store I could find it at, I purchased it. I even called stores in Hawaii and had them ship it to me because I was not going to be without it. That was the first time, and since then, other brands have done it, reformulated and things like that, and it's like, why? Things were perfect, things were beautiful, we all loved it, why would you do this to us? And the one that just sucker punched me like, bam, right in the gut the hardest, this here. My Ifa Ulta Velvet Luxe brush, this is the LBD foundation brush, the number 302 brush. I don't care if this brush start to go bald and catch alopecia of the scalp, honey. Every hair could fall out and I'ma still hold on to it and cry. I love this brush. You can look at it and tell the paint and chipped over the years. She'd have been used and abused, honey. And I refuse to get rid of it. And if you look right here, some more of them right there. I bought the whole collection of them when they went on sale for half off because I had to have backups. I will not be without this brush. And the fact that it for also kept every line besides this Velvet Luxe one. I'll admit, they were expensive. I think this one was like $48 or $58. And people took that alone and just said it's not worth it. But one thing I can tell you is, I don't know a single person I told to go ahead and just buy it and test it out that can say they were, disappointed in either the craftsmanship of the brush or the performance. The number one thing and the only thing you could say I did not like was the fact that that brush was expensive. And for most people, if you accidentally got makeup on your fingers and touch this brush because it has that soft velvet touch to it, it could possibly stain until you cleaned it off again. Other than that, it's nothing like it, honey. I use this on a daily basis as well as his big old cousin. This was the LBD bronzer brush. He was 58, I know for sure. I believe this thinner one was 48. These two bad babies, two of the best brushes on the market. I am someone who absolutely loves natural hair brushes, but you can't tell me nothing about these synthetics, honey. They top tier, and I absolutely hate the fact that they are gone. I hate the fact that they are gone. All right, now that we talked about the reasons that we hate makeup, it's time to end this video on some positivity and break out the top 5 reasons why I love makeup. Number 5, easily, packaging. Packaging is not the main reason you should buy makeup, but I ain't gonna lie and tell y'all that sometimes it don't seal the deal for you. You could look at something and be like, she basic, I got that a few times over, but that outside packaging could take it to the top. And don't let me love the color story or the formula inside and the packaging on the outside. I be sitting back looking like, you waving at me or you waving at my wallet? Because honey, I don't know, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and come through and spend a little cash anyway. Tell me, Pat McGrath does not have the best packaging on the makeup industry, honey. Tell me, who doing it better than her? It's heavy, it's expensive, it's gorgeous. The formulas, honey. The mattes, top tier. The metallics, top tier. Her special formula on the end, top tier. The mirror in this bad boy, top tier. It's heavy, like metal engraved on the back. Like, sis, are you black and gold? Even if Pat McGrath puts out one of these mothership palettes with the color story I think is absolutely ugly, she can do an all orange one or an all blue one, and I'm going to be right there collecting them because they are that beautiful. And I have never gotten a bad one yet. I haven't gotten a bad one yet, so I like the packaging, I like the formula, I love Mother. Oh, nobody loves you like Mother. So for number 5, packaging, it helps seals the deal. I love my single shadows and my things that I can depot as an artist, but if it comes to something like this, I'm truly afraid to even damage it. So number 5, packaging. But at number 4, it took me a minute and I was sitting back thinking like, how can you arrange these last few? Because you put this one right here at number 2, then you drop it back down, and then you bring this up here, and it's like, but after rearranging my list a few more times, I finally figured it out and decided that for me, number 4 is going to be finding the perfect shade. Usually for most people that means foundation. For me, that can mean any and everything. Finding the right shade of foundation, the right shade of highlighter, the right shade of a lipstick. Because when I first got into makeup, I really thought that I only liked certain shades of nudes. Then I found out I could take a shade that I don't necessarily like and add it with a liner that I do. And it could possibly bring those two back together and give me a whole new combo I never thought I would like. And now I absolutely love. So finding your perfect shade, I remember the first time I did that, NARS Tahoe. With many other brands, I was always trying to find my way to get things to look perfect. The foundation was always a little too light or a little too dark or a little too matte or a little, too glowy. It was just always something that needed to be fixed. NARS Sheer Glow came through, showed me that with Tahoe Medium Dark 2, I was that color with everything. With their concealers, with their foundations, I knew if I went to Medium Dark 2, it was going to suit me. But the Sheer Glow formula was so beautiful, I just couldn't believe it. It was full coverage, but it wasn't drying and matte. It lasted all day, but it didn't look oily or greasy at the end of the day. I just could not believe I found something that wonderful. And to me, that's what a foundation is supposed to do. Maybe yours don't get it for you like that, but I'm telling you, I've tried a bunch of different ones over the years, but no matter what's going on, I always know whether I want something soft and sheer or I want something full coverage, I can manipulate that with the right brush and have a flawless day. Number 3, one of the things that I love, I know many people don't do it, but I guarantee you if you get into it, it can be a little more expensive, but the time in the end, it's all worth it. And for me, creativity is the number 3 reason why I absolutely love makeup. It gives you the chance to bring out your inner thoughts and show off your talents, show off your vision and things like that. And when I think of having palettes like this in my collection, this is my version of a Makeup Geek Matrix palette. They make a colorful palette that comes in this container here, but they have their own preset shades in there. I purchased a bunch of individuals and created my own custom color story because I figured Makeup Geek makes an amazing formula and they have beautiful shadows, but the colors didn't speak to me on a personal level. This one here does. Because greens are my absolute favorite color, I wanted that to dominate the palette. I didn't want just one row of it. So now you can see I have a full row of greens, colors that can accentuate greens, including this yellow and this dark teal, and then I switched over to do other colors. But I wanted to make sure that in my palette, I had a variety of warm and cool tone greens. I did not want to choose between the two. And this gave me the option to show the world what type of colors I like while also sticking to a formula and a brand that I love. So this may be more expensive than just buying their preset one, but it gave me a time to sit back and test out my creativity. And now I can say I have something no one else in the world has. Next up, for number 2, I honestly had this at number 1 for a minute, but then right before I turned the camera off, I switched it back down. And number 2 for me, the best thing I like about makeup is the friendliness. Anytime I'm wearing makeup, it seems like other people really notices and you get nothing but compliments. Of course, there are going to be some people who may give you a weird look if whether they don't like makeup or they don't like the fact that you're wearing makeup. But I've never really had anybody walk up to me and purposely say, why would you wear that? Why are you doing this? But I get plenty of people that, oh my God, that eyeshadow is amazing. And before our current situation in the world and we weren't wearing masks, people used to always tell me about how beautiful my gloss was. Because honey, I got a collection of gloss so big it doesn't make sense. I love me some lip gloss. But when I think about just the fact that I'm a small channel, I started up things, and one of the friendliest things that's ever happened to me is a brand like the Face FX sent me my very first PR package. I was just over here minding my business, showing off the world my collection and the products I love, and the brand was so nice that they sent me items that they never had to. I am not their first client. I'm probably not the first person to speak about their products, but to know that they care about their customers so much that they were willing to send me something for free, I keep this right here on my desk at all times. It doesn't matter if I'm, going to be testing out new powders and things like that. This powder sits right here because it's one of the items they sent me, and it's something I know I can use on a daily basis. And with me having history of using powders like this that could have possibly gave me an acne breakout, to know I had a color that was just one shade, I didn't have to mix it or anything, and it lasted all day. I'm like, oh yeah, honey, we got to keep you right here. Every time I think about the fact that people in the world can go into makeup for one reason, whether it be they're working and they're a makeup artist, whether it be they're working and they're a model, they could be having just a bad skin day and just want to cover up something. Whatever their reason is, it seems like anytime I'm around other people who enjoy makeup, it's always a friendly environment, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I love makeup. That's why it's number 2. The number 1 reason that I put down was very easy. At first, it was at number 2 just because I was writing the list out, but once I sat down and looked at the order of things, it easily became number 1 because I believe the absolute best thing about makeup is the fact that it's a confidence booster. I truly believe that. A lot of people may say, you should be able to fight. Honey, do what you got to do to get to loving yourself and treating yourself as best as possible. As long as you're not hurting anyone else in the process, screw someone else's opinion. When I very first got into makeup, I was freelancing for free because I wanted to build up my skill, especially on darker women of color, and I also wanted to learn other face shapes. Many of the women in my family, of course, have features like me, around the same complexion, around the same face shape, so I knew I needed to work with women who had higher cheekbones, women who had a rounder face, women who were much older than me, who had, different skin issues than I have with someone who was in my 30s. Also wanted to work on someone with really young skin who doesn't have much acne and doesn't need anything on her skin, just wants to enhance her features. And I remember doing makeup for one young lady, and her friend immediately called. They panicked, and I was wondering what's going on. Next thing you know, that young lady shows up with a black eye. So imagine how great she felt thinking she was not going to be able to go to her job interview the next day, and me showing her, although her current situation is bad, there are things she can do while she gets her life together, and showing her what a full coverage concealer and using it properly can do, helped her to go on, get that job, and be able to move on with her life. But imagine how traumatic that would have been for her to have to go in, step into that employer's office, thinking they're not staring at me in my eyes and speaking to me. They're staring at this huge black eye that I have, and they're not questioning my skills. They're questioning my current lifestyle. And when I think of what is an item in your collection, Torrence, that just helps boost your confidence, it's no doubt about it. I've never used this on the channel before because I've accidentally dropped it and some of the pans actually fell straight out and I pushed them back in. But this is the Black Opal True Melanin High Impact Eyeshadow Palette. Y'all already know, I love black owned brands. I love just brands that I feel as if support people like me and support features that I have. If you're a brand that only wants to come out with 2 or 3 foundation shades and the darkest one is 6 shades above me, why would I come spend money with you? You're not making products that I can use. So when I think of a brand like NARS, a brand like Black Opal and things like that, where they create products where once I go in and find out what shade I am, I never have to worry. Every time I go across the board, I know exactly what to look for. It just makes the job easier for me. And when I think of this palette here, it's not something I've used often. I think maybe 2 or 3 times. But Black Opal has always made amazing products to me. And to find out that their new brand ambassador is Laomi, I was like, y'all not playing. Laomi is the... Honey, if you don't know who Laomi is, she is a dance queen, icon, legend. Like, I remember first getting on YouTube and having no idea what was going on. I remember thinking, okay, everybody dancing, and I'm like, what's going on? The outfits, the makeup, the lights, and it's like, this person looks like they're okay at it. This person looks like they're okay. And then Naomi stepped on the dance floor. And I instantly went from, I don't know what they doing, but I know she doing it right. And from that moment on, I was hooked. And every time I would hear the Naomi, I'm like, oh, she on the way, she on. I would run. They would be able to play her song or her music from the next room. And if you say, oh, Naomi on her way, stop everything I got to come see, honey. Now, me personally, I got a lot of energy on the dance floor, but one thing I can't do is spin and do a death drop, honey. I stand up too high from the ground, and I got a big old head. I can't risk that mug going that new. That ain't up to me. But even though I am not a trans woman, I am still someone who's a member of the LGBTQ plus community. And it just warms my heart to think that at one point in time, many of us were just considered either not even human or just the humans who showed up to the event to be the help. We were the makeup artists, we were the hairdressers, we were the stylists, and now we're the face of the brand. We're the reason that everyone's showing up for the campaign shoot is because our face is going to be the face of the brand. We don't have to just show up and have our brushes clean and ready, honey. Everybody's got clean brushes waiting on us. And I think of just imagine how that's going to make someone else feel who's a child growing up, not understanding exactly what steps to take in the world and being able to look, in the magazines, on the television shows and realize I see someone like me. The fear that I have of what's going to turn out with my life may not be quite as worrisome now when I look out and see I could potentially get out there and be someone and do something, and I'll have support in the world. To me, the support and the love and the confidence boost that makeup has brought is absolutely amazing. Have I had acne all my life? Since before puberty. Does it hurt sometimes? Yeah. Have I ever thought I was ugly? Not at all. But I wouldn't be lying if I told you if I was going, let's say, to take pictures or something like that, some, professional photos that I want to keep. Yes, I'm going to put on some concealer. I want to cover this, honey. I don't want to have this in my memories for life. She only going to be here a few more weeks, honey. Why you got to stay here in my permanent pictures? Girl, bye. You ain't paid for nothing. It feels nice to be able to know at one point in time I couldn't do nothing. Now if I want to do an eyeshadow look with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different colors, I can pull it off. That takes talent, that takes skill, that takes money, that takes creativity. And honey, I got all of that now, and that feels great. And what feels even better is knowing that you all are here to support me, to know we got Pfizer. She helped me do my intro. I believe she's also helped me doing my outro. I'm going to surprise y'all with that one too, but we're going to hold off on that. But I think I've been talking long enough, honey. This video was supposed to be a little quick one, but it didn't get past me for a minute. But I hope you all truly did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Also, make sure you all leave me comments down in the comment section letting me know about any other videos that you all would like to see for the rest of the month. I am still going to be putting out my skincare video for this month. Do not worry about it. I promise you all I will get it out there. It's just certain videos you really want to make sure your angles and your voice and things like that is together, because to me skincare is important, so I want that video to be nice. I need to make sure I turn this camera off, and while this video is formatting, that I go ahead and get these brushes washed, because could I have used them? Yeah. But as someone with acne, it's just like, it's best to go ahead and stay as clean as possible, to go ahead and keep this acne good and going, because I make sure no matter what, I use my disinfectant. So I'm not really worried about germs. It's just that 2 safety steps is better than 1. And if I would never use those brushes on a client, why would I risk using them on myself? So with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye, YouTube.